Has to be a Sam squinch. No wind ever comes up here and breaks trees off. That is a Sam squinch break. Look how beautiful this area is. You have a mountain over there that's just over 13, a mountain right there that's just under 14,000, and then you have just a million acres of beautiful. But like all nature things, sometimes beauty pays the price. If you look over here at this tree, see if we can get a little closer. You're gonna notice at the top of this tree and the middle of this tree are dead. Now, the reason for it is a little spur, a little tree spur that flies around in the air. See that knot going on there? So what happens is this little tree spur hits the tree, buries itself in there. The tree notices that something's wrong. It tries to outgrow it. It tries to grow really fast, really fast, really fast, and tries to stop it by growing like a knot around there. And essentially what that ends up doing is killing the tree. So this tree right here, if the top's dead, the tree is pretty much considered dead, right? It's not going to be growing anymore. Yeah, there's a little green on it, but it's not going to be growing anymore. You can go ahead and cut it down. Just use that bad boy for firewood, right? Another thing we can see, if we come over here, is we can see just how thick the forest is, right? So look at this. Now, this is almost like a black forest. And what they mean by that is sunlight is not really reaching the ground. And if we walk over here into these trees, and you've probably seen this if you've ever been out in the woods, you'll see that the majority of these trees, the bottoms of them, are dead. There's nothing growing. Why? Because trees need sunlight. So if you go up, a lot of these trees just grow tall. They grow tall and skinny. Why? Well, because this place has never been properly managed. When I say properly managed, they've never had a company come in or a service come in and thin it. And what you do is you go in here and you pick certain trees to stay and the rest of the trees go, right? And how you determine what trees stay and what trees go really depends on where you're at and what they're looking to do. What I have done is a lot of elk habitat. So we're going to keep trees that are about like this size here or a little bit bigger. And we're going to cut down a lot of the little stuff. Okay, and as you can see on the ground down here, there's really nothing going on. Okay, and what happens is these trees, they, just like the arrows in the movie 300, they blot out the sun and nothing can grow on the ground. We get a little weeds and a little action like that, but nothing really significant will grow. When you thin that out and you take out a bunch of the little trees and a bunch of the dead standing trees, you do a whole bunch of things all at once, right? One, you open up the soil. Okay, the sunlight's going to hit it, the water's going to be able to get down to it, and you're going to start producing a lot of new growth. Okay. Number two, you cut down on wildfires, because as you can see, this place is like a damn matchstick, and it's just ready to go up. Okay, this is pretty bad here. One lightning strike, one misplaced fire, one wind with a fire, you're done. Millions of acres are going to burn. If you've ever noticed on the side of a mountain, right after it snows, if there's a blanket of snow on top of the trees, that means the trees haven't been thinned. And you can tell because if you've ever seen an area that has been thinned, that snow will pretty much be on the ground, and only a little bit will be in the trees. So you look here, this is all pretty much dead ground. A couple weeds here and there, but besides that, in there, that's just a match waiting to happen right there. Freya, come on. That's all it is. And it's bad. It's real bad. And the only way to get rid of it is to thin it. And you're going to hear a lot of people say, well, thinning is bad. Well, it's not. I did it for a long time. And the elk love it because all that new growth comes in and the elk eat it. They can also, I don't know if you can notice this, but elk don't have a good time running through this stuff. Okay? You get all this stuff out and you clean it up, and the elk are going to be able to run a lot better too. Same with the deer and turkey and all that stuff. And if you do this thing called lop and scatter, which basically you cut a tree down, like let's just say this tree, right? And all those branches, you cut all those branches off and you chop them in little pieces, and then you scatter them all across the ground. What they're going to do is they're going to naturally break down from the UV, from the animals trampling on them, from the vehicles and all that stuff. They're going to break down, they're going to go into the soil, and that's just going to be like nutrients for the soil, okay? But I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of education on a little forestry action since I'm out here in the woods today. As you saw, my dog is having a lovely time. But yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty beautiful, but we got to keep it that way. And just letting it grow however it wants to is not a good way of doing it. And just remember, God works in mysterious ways, and every time a lightning strikes in the woods and starts a giant forest fire, that's him just letting us know that we're fucking up. There we go. I forgot to mention that the other reason when you thin it, the spores for the dwarf mistletoe can only go so far in the wind. So when you thin it, the wind won't be able to take it and won't be able to get on any other trees. Again, depending on what you want to do and how far the trees are spread. And there's mathematical formulas for all that stuff when you thin out your property and you just decide exactly why you want to thin it and how you want to do it.